Jatana became pretty ill when she was 17, so she was hospitalized for a while. And she came back bouncing. She's stable now, which is great, and she's getting more out in the community, which is my goal and her goal. She loves being out with people.
I love the treatment center.
You love your job?
Yeah.
She gets up every morning consistently at the same time. She don't want to be late for work. She's very routine, and she's very good at what she does.
Yeah.
So, and they love her over there. They've been great for Jatana. One thing that's meaningful for Jatana is being part of the Wildcats group, which consists of about 18 disabled women, and they go out in the community and they go to plays and they have parties. She's part of the Special Olympics group. She played basketball and interacted with a lot of people there on her own. She talks more, interacts more. She trusts people a little bit more. So I know that's important to me.
On March 16th of 1997, I was in a car accident. It was actually a drunk driving related accident that left me a quadriplegic, so I'm paralyzed from my chest down. A big part of me actually died that day. And from that point on in my life, I needed to figure out what I was going to do with my life, what my purpose was, and why did I survive. I participated in things like the Miss Wheelchair Wisconsin pageant. So that's kind of how my journey started. My motivational speaking, started progressing from that point on. I started going to more schools and speaking about my accident. I realized that I had this gift that was hidden inside of me that I didn't know even existed, because before my accident, I didn't know that I could get up in front of like hundreds of people and just bear all my struggles and obstacles. And there's a lot of things that I've lost, but a lot of things that I've gained also. With the IRIS program, when that came into my life, that brought something really new to the table that I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get back. And that was a huge part of my independence. And honestly, I feel like, everything is pretty much a fight. And that's okay, because I'm strong enough to do that, and I'll do that. And I'll do that not just for myself, but for the whole community of individuals that are living a life like me. It's not so much about me. I mean, it's great if it works into my world and makes my life a little bit better, but I'll tell you what, it really can annoy me when I know that there are other individuals out there that can't speak for themselves and they get walked on, because people try to do it to me and I can stop them. So I mean, any chance that I get to try to change it for all of us, I'll be the first in line to do it.
As far back as I remember is me at 13 curled up in my bedroom with my cat Domino, and I said to my cat, "This isn't our life. Me and you in this room, this is us right now, but I'm gonna get us out of here. I'm gonna do everything I can to get us out of this situation." When I finally turned 18, I'm like, I'm an adult now. It's time that I took my life in my hands and figure out where I go from here. I always wanted to go to college, even when I was really little. My dream of writing, that's been around since I was, I don't know how young. I think I started writing when I was 6. I still find little books I used to make when I was little and I can't read my handwriting. Cute. And that's kind of been the dream that's been consistent through all of my years. It's simply be a published author. I had missed a writing deadline here, and I promised myself that I wasn't going to miss another one. and I wasn't gonna miss out on the writing contest. And I submitted 5 poems because that was as big of an entry you could put in. And I honestly did not expect anything to come of it. I kind of actually forgot about it for a while. I'm like, oh my God, I was not expecting this. I was completely floored. And I think it's my writing that's kept me the most sane over the years. As long as I kept writing, as long as I kept creating, I felt alive.
My accident was about 14 years ago. It was September 22nd, and I will say it was my fault. I was coming home from a wedding, which I was part of, and I was drinking. And coming home, I'll always remember that the first thing I seen to the right was a cop had another person pulled over. And I'll never forget the time I was laughing, saying, yeah, this guy's not as good as I am. I was 25 years old and pretty arrogant at the time. I ended up rolling my truck, and that's where I broke my neck, and I also broke my leg. I was paralyzed from basically the neck down. I was kind of embarrassed of my situation, and I didn't want to go outside or do anything. And then something hit me. My faith came in, and when that happened, I started realizing that, you know, I am who I am, and I can make this a lot better situation than where I'm at now. I decided, well, I'm going to look into DVR. I went to DVR and determined that, okay, I want to go to school and try to do some things from there. They said, okay, what our plan is to get you employment. You got to work, you know, and you can do this. When I first went there, I was scared, and I thought, okay, you know, I've been in this bedroom for so long, and I've always thought, well, I'm not able to do that. I can't move nothing. How am I going to be able to help society out at all if not being able to do anything? And when I went to DVR, they showed me, well, you can do this. And I thought, wow, all these people are doing all these awesome things. Why can't I do them? It's time for me to do something. And ever since then, I've just wanted to strive to try to overcome whatever issues and obstacles. There's a lot of things out there that, you know, I thought that I would never be able to do, but there's a lot of things out there now I know I can do. And that's why when I have people telling me that, you know, you're not going to be able to do things, it just encourages me more to go out and prove them wrong. My support system is great. I mean, I use my family, but I know there's a lot of people out there more than willing to help. And if you can find good people to help you out, I think self-direction is really easy. Independence is so important that self-direction is a big part of that independence. And being disabled, there's nothing more important than independence.
Even though my mom is gone, she was a big key in my life. She passed away 5 years ago. When we found out that she got lung cancer, I just started drawing and drawing, so where the art comes in. So it helps me cope with the stress. There was people that were gonna help me find work.
My official title is support broker, and that's basically the equivalent of a case manager, and I help her do whatever she needs. She had this service of vocational support, but they were having troubles finding her a job, and she had some health issues and just some other frustrations in her life. And so, you know, we really worked to try to identify what she would really enjoy doing. And the theme that we really came back to was that something that made her feel good was art and poetry.
The inspiration is from my mom, because when she was sick, it's like the only time I saw her to be happy was when she was planting flowers in her garden. I do hearts, I do shirts.
What we found is that once she found something that she enjoyed, a lot of the other problems went away because she didn't have time to think about those problems. It really is her directing that and saying, you know, this is what I want, this is what I need, help me get there. So it's, you know, a fun process.
When I was 18 years old, I was in a car accident with my friend Lynn, and she hit a tree going about 40 miles an hour. And I bit the dashboard because back in those days, there weren't even seatbelts in the car. And I was paralyzed from here down. I saw the flash when my neck snapped. I felt the tingling start here, and go down to my toes. My father was a surgeon, and he was the first doctor in the ER. And he came up to me and he looked down in my eyes, and I said, Dad, I'm scared. And he, for the first time in my life, I saw his eyes fill with tears, which was really complex for me to see because I had gone on rounds with him my whole life as a little girl and was accepted at nursing school, and I'd just never seen my dad moved that way. And he said, honey, everything's gonna be okay. And then he turned on his heel and he said to the nurse, what can I do to help the other girl? And I'll never forget that because he was one of my greatest role models to forge ahead, to move through things, not to be stuck, but to learn and grow from what life presents us with. I went through a couple of years of sheer hell, trying to understand who I was. When I first broke my neck, people pushed and pushed me. You know, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I balked and I wasn't ready and I didn't have a new sense of myself. It takes at least 2 years. And when I did get a sense of myself, I didn't want to live. I didn't know that you could kayak and that you could horseback ride and that you could still have good sex. I didn't know any of those things. People need to be educated and inspired by others who have lived and breathed that. I had to have certain experiences first to grow into my own strength. My life is lived on a daily basis with impermanence and uncertainty. I don't know every morning, no matter how hard I try to interview and hire responsible women, I really don't know. Are they gonna walk through that door at 5 in the morning to get me out of bed and help me take a shower and go to work? That's a pretty hard thing to know, that you do not know if your very basic human needs will be met that day. You have to let go of control to live with a sense of faith and hope, to dance a little with life and have some fun. Where I began to engage with life and the understandings that kind of swirl around this notion of disability was surviving the suicide attempts. Sometimes it's much easier to be seduced by the darkness than to reach towards the light. I'm just so glad that I lived through it, that I was strong enough to pull through. That was a turning point. Another turning point, I would say, was the birth of my son. And another turning point was the night that I was hired as a teacher, and my son, he crawled into bed with me and he slipped his hand in mine. He was in first grade and he said, Mommy, did you just make a dream come true? I said, yeah.